Hey, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Hot Topic Tuesday. I'm Emily Smiley and I'm so excited that you're here. Let me know. I know many of you watch this on the replay. That's cool. Just let me know or message me, where you're tuning in from, where you're watching this from, and if this is super helpful for you, which I hope. Today's hot topic is not very long, but it is a point that I think absolutely needs to be said and came up again recently inside one of my affiliate groups, and I think it's definitely worth sharing. I think many of you will get some value out of this today. And part of it is in the question is, the saying, if you give a person a fish, you'll feed them for a meal. But if you teach a person to fish, you can feed them forever, right? For the rest of their life. And that's so true. So my question is applying that towards your business. Do you know how to fish in your business? And more importantly, are you teaching others to do the same? Or are you just handing them the fish? It is so true and it's so tempting. I get it. You get, new team members and new people that you're bringing in, and you sign them up, and then we start to do everything for them, right? After all, you've been in longer, you've been to the trainings, you've been to the events, you've taken the notes, you've invested in yourself, and you've learned, you know more than they do. How do you expect the new person to know and learn and grow? I get it. We've all been there. But the thing is sometimes we excuse them or we dictate that. Well, I was on the call or I went to the event, so I'll tell you, and we do it for them. Well, what happens is that when you're spoon feeding them, right, then you're not teaching them to build. So when you quit doing that, they usually will quit. Now, I'm not talking about launching a person or teaching the new person the ropes or getting them started. I'm talking about the fact never actually making them meet you halfway. For every step you take, they take. And unfortunately, this happens so much when we bring on new team members. And it's so tempting, and you quickly slip into that management mode instead of being focused on bringing new team members in. And, maybe you say, all right, Emily, I'm totally guilty of this. We all are. What do I do about it? Well, first of all, you have to teach them. You have to teach them what you know. And I believe, especially with a background in teaching, that one of the biggest ways that we can help them is by asking them to participate. And so many of us still don't do this. We're going to events where the person is lecturing the whole time, or we're on calls where we only hear from one person. We're not asked to, maybe share any more than something that's personal. We're not asked to maybe help out in a training or, master a certain area. And I believe we're doing our teams disservice when we're doing this. We're not teaching others. We're not asking them to step up and to step into their full potential and versus doing, right? If you are just sitting and you're listening, you're not going to retain very much of it. If you have to retell it or if you have to do it, you're much, much, much more likely to remember the content of what you're needing to reciprocate, right? So, don't excuse a new person by going, oh, well, they don't know the ropes. You need to hold their hand the whole time. You don't actually need to hold their hand the whole time. They are a business owner and they're an entrepreneur. You're not a fish market, right? Like, you're a business. And teaching someone new the ropes and getting them launched and giving them the tools and the strategies is one thing. But as soon as they're in there and you're teaching them that next rank or advancement, teach them to fish as well so that you can duplicate yourself. Ask them to participate, ask them to actively share a part in the training. And they're like, well, I'm new, I don't know this. But I guarantee you, by the time they share, they're going to know that aspect that they're helping to train on so much more effectively than if you had never asked anything of them. Because if you do everything for them, you will burn out. You will get frustrated. You will get disappointed, right? Because it's not going to duplicate, because if you're not there, it doesn't happen, right? And so when you quit, they're going to quit because it's just not you. So I will include some checklists in the comments. Let me know if you're interested in that. You definitely need a checklist when you're starting with someone new. I don't care what kind of business that you're in. I'm speaking mostly to my NMers, but anyone that's really building a team or building a home-based business, you want to help them get started off right. You want to set those expectations, those goals, the time, explain the comp plan, their first ranking, help them get their tools started, their strategies, and also really important, their websites, They're training to get them set up on social media the right way. And you guys know that's a hot topic for me, so I will leave that there. They're training, get them registered for the event and get them to hold themselves accountable. Yes, they're their own business owner, but that is where you can be the most helpful, not in spoon feeding them. Give them the tools and the strategies, and then for every step they take, you take them. And then a lot of times when they're having to, reciprocate that back because you're teaching them to fish, they have more questions. Because how many of us have ever had a new person and they don't even know what questions to ask because they don't know what they don't know? And how many of us have heard, some people that have maybe trained or mentored us say, well, they don't know what they don't know. But part of the reason why they don't know that is because you're telling them, and they're in information overload, and they're overwhelmed. And an easy hack and way to help them get out of that is by asking them to break down something, to share something, either with the team or with someone that they're helping or with that they want to share with. Because when you say, all right, you've shared all of this information and now you want them to train and teach on it, and you're holding them accountable to do that, they are much more likely to remember where to go to get the tools, where to go to and they're going to know what to ask you. They're going to go, well, you've asked me to train on this and I'm new, so I better go to this site and learn this area because you've asked me to do that. And your new person, the number one thing that you want them to master is the number one thing that you want to get them to teach. I'm just saying. Right? If you want them to master something, then have them teach it. Because as soon as that person gets in there to teach it back to you, it's not about you anymore. They're going to be like, well, where do I find this? Well, what should I share? Well, I don't know what you should share. It brings a whole different conversation rather than you just dictating and telling them, well, this is where you find this, and this is where you go for this, and this is where and they're not going to retain any of it. You're just talking in one of their ears. They haven't had any experience or interaction, and waiting months and months and months for it to osmosis sink in doesn't always work because many of you people are already going to have quit by then. Does that make sense? I hope that's super helpful. For me, it was like a light bulb moment, right? Let's get these people that you're trying to get help. Let's get them turned around and get them some success in doing this. And for me, it worked once I started doing it right with the team. But even in affiliate, when you're teaching someone, hey, I want to learn how to do these strategies online. I want to learn how to automate and duplicate some things. So while I'm learning, I'm going to make this affiliate money. Okay, well, how do you do that? Well, what are some actionable items that you can turn around and teach and do and replicate that you're going to get immediate success, but more importantly, you're going to retain the knowledge of how you did that? Because how many of us have only done it like one time, and then if you don't have to repeat it again for 12 months, you've completely forgotten how to do it? I have absolutely been there. When I ran my first ad, I thought, this is amazing. I ran it, blah, blah, blah. And then when it came time to do the metrics and evaluate it and bring it to my mentor the very first time, the very first one, I turned it off. And I sat on it. I was in so many other areas. I was in, information constipation. I was completely overwhelmed with all the new stuff that I was learning. And by the time I actually got back to try to turn it on or run it again, I'd completely forgotten how to do it and I had to relearn it. Why? Because I got out of the participation aspect of it. Does that make sense? So that is where you can absolutely be helpful in teaching people to fish by training them and keeping them in that participation, right? But they must join as their own business because it's not yours. So that makes success or failure, it is an option. Are you going to succeed at this or are you going to fail at this? And it's the same for you. You make that decision, but then you train them and then they have to make that decision. It's not, well, I gave them everything and then they just did nothing. And that's why it's so much more frustrating when people quit, because you've done everything and that's part of the problem. So then you take on more of how you feel and it makes it harder to get past that emotional piece, right? So we must take our business seriously, but we have to teach others to do the same. You can't take ownership for another person's business. You have to immediately have them take ownership and take their business seriously, right? So, if you're looking for more on how to expand, how to, looking for new people, you don't have any tools or strategies for building online because you absolutely need it. If you're interested in affiliate marketing to grow your audience and kind of make some money as you're learning how to do that, Share this with someone you know. If it's not for you, that's cool. Reach out, let me know. I've got a couple really good topics. I'm actually excited to reach out about the new year, new decade. I know you're going to be hearing overload about this, but it is really a cool 2020 vision, right? I mean, we're already seeing it. And I think I posted it on one of the posts, but if you have not, think about your word that you want to really roll into, 2020 with. And I would love to know what your word is and maybe why, and what your goals are for your business this next coming year, and how are you going to teach others to fish. All right, you guys, I hope you found this valuable and helpful, and have a great week. Crush it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.